Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. I'm really thrilled you're joining me today because we're going to completely reframe how you view your career, your daily tasks, and honestly, your interactions with everyone around you. We're talking about perception building in the workplace. Now I know, a lot of you hear the words workplace politics and immediately tense up, right? You're probably thinking it's all about backstabbing or playing these weird mind games. But today, we're looking at the data and real-world scenarios that prove that's just not true.
Okay, let's dive into this. When we ask, what is the biggest form of workplace politics? The answer actually isn't manipulating people. It's not taking credit for someone else's hard work either. In reality, the biggest form of politics is just perception. It's simply how you're perceived by the people you interact with every single day. Shattering this myth is step one to truly unlocking your potential at work. Because once you realize that perception isn't about trickery, well, you can start actively managing it. So let's get clear on exactly what we mean here. In the workplace, perception isn't always the objective truth. It's the picture people create in their minds based on what they repeatedly see, hear, and experience from you. Think about it for a second. Your managers, your coworkers, they just don't have the time to deeply analyze every single employee's underlying motivations. So what do their brains do? They create mental shortcuts. They quickly conclude things like, oh, this person is dependable, or yikes, this person creates problems, or maybe this person only works when they're asked. Now, these conclusions might not be 100% accurate, but they absolutely act as a filter for every single opportunity that comes your way.
All right, let's look at Section 1, the tale of two employees, Sneha versus Neha.
Imagine Sneha and Neha. They both joined the company on the exact same day. They've got the same salary, they're on the same team, they have the exact same level of experience, and crucially, they work equally hard. But right in month one, their paths completely diverge. Just look at their initial mindsets. Sneha decides, you know what, I'll just focus on work. My work will speak for itself. Neha, on the other hand, decides, I'll focus on work and communication. So what did that actually look like in practice? Well, every Friday, Neha took just 2 extra minutes to send a really simple update email. It basically said, completed 8 tickets, helped Ravi resolve a login issue, learning automation this week. Let me know if any priority items need support. Guys, it took less than 2 minutes, but those 2 minutes started painting a very specific picture.
Let's track how this plays out over the first 6 months. By month 1, entirely because of those simple weekly updates, managers already started remembering Neha's name. Sneha was working just as hard, but she was practically invisible. Then, by month 3, they faced their first major hurdle together, a production issue. And by month 6, we see the ultimate result during our promotion discussion. Let's actually break down exactly what happened at that month 3 mark. So, when the month 3 production issue hit, Sneha did what she always does. She put her head down and fixed her assigned task. And she did her job perfectly. But Neha? She fixed her task, and then brilliantly went a step further by informing everyone about what was going on. She shot out a quick message outlining exactly what happened, the current status, the ETA for a full fix, and specifically when she'd provide the next update. The manager didn't even have to ask. And this beautifully illustrates reliability. Without even realizing it, everyone involved felt relaxed, and they subconsciously started trusting Neha way more. Fast forward to month 6, and management is sitting down for a promotion discussion. The core question the manager asks is, who can independently handle responsibility? Immediately, 3 different people say Neha. Now, was Neha a dramatically better worker than Sneha? No, absolutely not. But 3 people spoke up for her because they had repeatedly experienced her reliability. You see, trust isn't built in one giant leap. It's built from these repeated, small moments. Moving on to Section 2, Perception Across Different Roles, the power of the A/B test.
Now, you might be thinking this only applies to one specific type of job, but let's look at how this exact dynamic plays out across various departments, starting with human resources. Imagine Sneha and Neha are recruiters, and they both successfully hire 30 candidates. Sneha completes the hiring and moves right on to the next requirement. Managers know she works, sure, but nothing more. Neha, after every hiring drive, shares the hiring numbers, explains the market challenges they faced, appreciates the interview panel, and even suggests improvements for next time. So when a hiring crisis eventually hits, everyone instantly remembers Neha. Why? Because she actively reduced uncertainty and projected total confidence. Managers don't just value the act of hiring, they value confidence. Let's compare them as IT developers now. Both write great code and solve bugs. Sneha writes her code, pushes it to Git, and bam, she's done. Neha writes her code, but she also documents the changes, explains any potential risks, reviews her teammates' pull requests, and actually takes the time to help junior developers understand the fix. So the crucial point is that Neha's technical skill didn't change. She and Sneha are still equally talented coders, but Neha's perceived value absolutely skyrocketed. People now look at her and think, wow, she improves the entire team.
Let's dive into an operations role, which is all about keeping the business running smoothly. Both Sneha and Neha silently solve daily issues, but Neha sends this very specific evening update. Notice the brilliant structure here. First, she lists today's issues, like a payment delay or a slow vendor response. Then she lists the action taken, escalated, temporary solution applied, and finally, the preventative action, monitoring every hour. Because of this ridiculously simple communication, leadership sleeps peacefully. Uncertainty has completely disappeared, and people naturally trust those who reduce uncertainty.
What about customer service, like a call process agent? Both achieve a stellar 95% quality score. Sneha ends every single call highly professionally, but Neha is observing. She notices that customers are repeatedly confused about the refund process, so she informs her team leader, and by next week, the script gets updated. Call volume literally drops. Neha didn't actually work harder than Sneha. She just observed more carefully. And as a result, management now sees her as a high-level problem solver who improves the entire business.
We see the exact same thing in a chat process role. Both agents resolve 120 chats perfectly. Sneha resolves them and closes them out. Neha notices the repeated questions, creates ready-made responses, and shares those shortcuts with the team so new employees can learn way faster. Soon, her coworkers are literally saying around the office, man, work is just easier when Neha is on shift. That sentence right there, that is the very definition of building a powerful, positive perception.
And guess what? This concept scales all the way up to leadership. Imagine Sneha and Neha are now managers with the exact same targets. Sneha only notices mistakes. Her employees dread meetings, they stop sharing problems, and small issues balloon into massive crises. Neha, however, appreciates publicly, corrects privately, and listens before she judges. She creates this incredible psychological safety. So when her employees make a mistake, they run to tell her immediately so it can be solved earlier. For Neha, trust actually translates directly into team performance.
Which brings us to Section 3, the mindset effect, reverse psychology in action.
So how do you actually become a Neha instead of a Sneha? Well, it all starts internally. An employee's internal mindset creates a massive ripple effect that literally dictates how the entire workplace reacts to them. Suppose an employee constantly repeats to themselves, "Nobody values me." What happens? The brain begins searching for proof to validate that statement. Small, totally normal workplace disappointments suddenly become hard evidence. Eventually, the employee physically behaves like someone who is ignored. They pull back, they stop communicating, they act completely disengaged. And the real tragedy is, others pick up on those cues and start treating them like someone who should be ignored. The mindset becomes reality.
Now contrast that with an employee who operates with a positive mindset, saying something like, "I'm still learning. Please tell me where I can improve." It's unbelievable how the workplace shifts around this person. Managers naturally drop their guard and become mentors. Why? Because human beings genuinely enjoy helping someone who is open, humble, and eager to learn. The exact same workplace reacts completely differently simply because a different mindset created a completely different behavior.
Let's look at Section 4, Human Emotions at Work, the 3 subconscious questions.
We love to think of the office as this place of pure logic and spreadsheets, but honestly, it's not. Every single coworker, manager, and customer you interact with is quietly evaluating you based on human emotion. They're subconsciously asking themselves 3 specific questions whenever they deal with you. Number 1, can I trust you? Number 2, do you make my work easier or harder? And number 3, do I feel respected when working with you? If the answer to these is yes, your reputation grows exponentially. People might forget the exact data points in your presentation, but they will rarely, if ever, forget how working with you made them feel.
Finally, Section 5, Workplace Philosophy, the true value of consistency.
As we wrap up this explainer, let's distill this into a core philosophy of what makes someone truly valuable over the long term, separating those myths of office politics from the reality of professional growth. The loudest person in the room is not always the most valuable. And the quietest person isn't necessarily always overlooked. The truth is actually much simpler than that. The person who consistently creates clarity, reliability, and calm becomes incredibly valuable over time. It is all about reducing the chaos for the people around you.
I really want you to remember this concept. Respect grows slowly. Trust grows even more slowly. But once both are established, opportunities begin finding you. A job title might introduce your position to the company, but your perception decides how much actual influence that position carries.
So I want to leave you with one final, vital question to ask yourself as you go into work tomorrow. What are people repeatedly experiencing when they work with you? Are they experiencing a Sneha who puts her head down and just does the baseline? Or are they experiencing a Neha who actively communicates, builds trust, and creates calm? The choice is absolutely yours. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll